That's what I
Go
want.
for
All
it,
right,
man.
everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what city and state you're from, what country, and if you're happy or if you're sad, or if you're happy and you know it, you clap your hands. We can do that too, Jeff. I don't know. But thanks for joining us. And today we've got something really cool. We've actually been talking about this for a month and a half. So I know Nick and Vanessa have been working on this on the back end, and I'm excited to show this to everybody. And Jeff, I'm going to go to you because then I know Nick's going to take over and he's got the whole prezzo. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the continued evolution of the video school, and we're continuing to work through with our students and with the feedback we're receiving to make it a better experience and a more effective experience. And I think this is exactly what is going to happen today. This is exactly what we're going to learn, and we're excited to share.
All right.
And one more thing. What's up, Germany? Germany's in the house. I just wanted to tell you, Nick. Michael's in.
Nice. Good to see you.
All right, Nick,
Twice
you're
today,
up,
Michael.
buddy.
Twice today.
That's right.
All right, cool. Well, let's get rolling here. So, well, first of all, it's good to see everybody. We took, what did we take, about a month off since we did one of these?
Feels like a very long time.
Yeah, it's been a long month, right? A lot going on in the meantime. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. This, as Tristan said, has been in the works for actually quite a while. I mean, it's in a lot of ways, it's something we wanted to build. Finally sort of had the time to do so over kind of the holiday period when things slow down just a little bit. You can fit some extra planning sessions in. So really excited to share this with you. We have a lot to cover today. I know there's some crazy stuff happening in the world right now. So I understand if you're a little distracted, but please, focus in as much as you can, because I'm going to give you a lot of information that you could just take and run with on your own, or you can obviously join us in Business Video School and we'll help you apply it, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. So first of all, before we get into talking about the roadmap today, I just wanted to remind you of this slide. And I show this slide a lot because I really want you to understand this before I talk about how the rest of this works. And that is that video is just the next version of human communication, right? It is a marketing tool, but it is a lot more than a marketing tool. And I think that if you can think about video as just the latest and greatest and by far most impactful way to talk to people other than being face-to-face, it's as close as you can ever get psychologically to being face-to-face with someone. If you accept that about video, you're going to realize that there's a lot of different places that video can have a super positive impact on your business. And I'd argue even your personal life. We don't talk about that hardly at all. But it can really drastically improve the way you're communicating with people, the amount of people who are able to engage with you. And if you think about it that way, I think you're going to realize it doesn't have to be as intimidating as you may feel it is right now. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's a lot of ways the school is built around this concept, this idea that, yeah, this is a marketing tool, but it's so much more than that. There's so many other benefits you can get. And if you understand that, you're going to get those benefits really, really quickly. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it today. So here's what we're talking about. This is our roadmap, right? So we call this the real estate video roadmap. And this is what everything we do in Business Video School moving forward is going to be built around, right? So let me give you a little bit of context here. And so what's happened is that over the past 4+ years, we've worked with, I think it's something around 600 to 1,000 total real estate agents, both between coaching them through the school, coaching them in our marketing business, and also making videos with them. And obviously all that experience led us to the point where we decided to develop Business Video School, not even quite a year ago, right? Right around this time, last year is when we started working on this. So here's what happened, right? So the first thing we did is we developed a 12-week course, 1 hour a piece. We brought people in. We actually took the course together as a cohort-based class, which people really liked. And we learned a lot from that, right? So we had students producing some really cool, exciting video content. It was a really good, positive experience. But one of the takeaways was, well, that was great. What else can I learn, right? Because it was really just the tip of the iceberg. And that was 12 hours of training content. And we were just scratching the surface is what we learned, right? So the next phase was, let's make a whole bunch more trainings. And so for the past 8 months or so, we've been making a new training almost every single week and just stacking up course after course to the point where I think we have at least 10 courses now. We have dozens of workshops. We've got dozens of video recipes. there's just a ton of stuff that our students can access. However, that sort of created this new problem, which was great. I've got access to this massive library. Where do I start? We're starting to get that question more and more, right? Like, where do I start? And then once I take that first training or two, what videos should I make first? And then when should I take the next step? When do I know that I'm ready to start making more elaborate videos or to start running paid ads? How do I make those decisions? How do I decide where the content should be shared? And so there's a lot, right? It's just saying I'm going to learn video is like saying you're going to learn to run a business. It's a simple thing to say, and it's an incredibly complex process when you actually get into it. So we got to this point, we said, all right, what we actually need here is we've got the courses, we've got the content, we know overall where we're trying to build up to. We need to now go back and create each of the individual steps that are necessary to get there, right? What skills should you be learning at what point along the map or along the path? And then attached to that is what videos should you be making as you go? Because the last thing you want to do is what a lot of people do, and that is they look at somebody who's been making videos for years that has a whole bunch of skills that they've refined over that time, and they try to copy them today, and they fall flat on their face, and they get really frustrated, and they spend hours and hours trying to figure things out when they're editing videos, and it's a big mess, right? So we took that and we said, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're walking through this. We're walking down this path. We're learning the skills we need. We're implementing the videos we need at the exact right time. And the ultimate goal of this path, and I want to get your input from all of you who are here today, is the ultimate goal is this final destination, which is that we want to help our students build a scalable local brand that consistently attracts new business through video. All right. So let me know in the chat right now, is that what you want, right? So I want to make sure we got this right. This is the first time we're publicly unveiling this, right? So we are.
You should have asked the question last month.
We should have, right? But let's confirm it, right? So let me know if that's really what you're trying to do with video, right? Because that's what we're ultimately building our roadmap to get you to. So let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit, and I'll check the chat in just a second. There's ultimately 3 things that I think are part of that ultimate goal, right? So as we're walking down this path, if you're going to create, if you're going to start a journey in life, you better know where you're heading, right? That needs to be kind of one of the things you figure out before you start moving in that direction. So what are the outcomes that we want to achieve? And so these are the 3 that we've really defined. And these go in a lot of ways sort of beyond where I think most people are thinking about video. The first outcome is we want all of our students to save time by replacing themselves with video, right? And we're going to talk about this in the roadmap a little bit later. But the idea is video is such an effective form of communication, and it can be pre-recorded, obviously, right? So are there ways to take a video of yourself and replace your actual self with that video, right? So let me give you a quick example. Let's say you have a question that at least 50% of your clients tend to ask you. Well, that should be a video, right? Because now every time you get that question, you can just send that on over, right? It's going to save you time. It's a better experience for them. They're going to get a more detailed, in-depth, well thought out answer. And guess what? They're probably going to tell their friends and family about it because it's so cool, because they've never seen an agent do that before, right? That's just one example. You can do training videos, you can communicate with referral partners, so many different opportunities. And the reason it's important to think about that, especially when you first start this journey, is that as soon as you start replacing yourself with video, now you have extra time to market with video, right? I mean, if you want to be making fancy, complicated content down the road, it's going to help a lot to have optimized your business in the beginning stages so that you have that time available, right? So that's one thing. The next one is attracting a higher percentage of the right customers. So again, yes, we're using video to attract people, but it takes it a step further and says, hey, we can really be specific about the kinds of people that we want as our customers, right? We can attract more of the ideal customer. And that's actually something that we've really intentionally designed into this roadmap. And what does that do for you? Well, it just makes your business more enjoyable, right? When you work with more of the types of people that are your absolute favorite people, you're going to have more fun, right? Your business is going to operate more effectively. You're going to have better outcomes. Your clients are going to be happier with what you're doing for them. So video is really powerful in that way. You can cut through the noise, you can attract the right people, and more of your customers are going to be a better fit for you, right? And then the third one here is the most obvious, which is to grow your business faster by staying top of mind with more people. And obviously that's something that's going to happen throughout the entire roadmap. So another thing that we really thought was important here is that we don't want to teach you a bunch of stuff and then have you waiting months to actually start implementing it and growing your business. Literally from the very first class, and you're not required to post that very first video, but you will be making videos every single step of the way that you can share publicly. And that's going to help you with this third outcome, which is to grow faster by staying top of mind with more people, right? So those are our outcomes. That's what we're aiming for. And I'm just going to check the chat, make sure I was on the right page. Looks like a lot of people are chiming in that we're on the right path here. So that's good to see. I appreciate the feedback. So moving on, the last thing before we get into the actual roadmap, but I do want to do a little bit of a disclaimer, okay? I'm assuming you're here, this was called a roadmap, right? So that didn't say hack, I didn't say shortcut. There are no shortcuts on this roadmap. This is a long process. This is an in-depth process, okay? This is not a cheat. We are not giving you something where we're saying, hey, take our 2-week intensive crash course and you're gonna know how to do all this stuff, right? Can you learn a lot in a short period of time? Sure. But the one thing you're gonna have to do, and the one thing that we really emphasize here in Business Video School, is you have to practice, all right? There really are no shortcuts. When I interview all the top performers in video, when I interview people that are making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of extra dollars in their business because of video, they didn't get it right after a few weeks, right? They practiced a ton. Most of them have made hundreds of videos before they really dialed it in. Now, we can help you move a lot faster than that, but please do not think of this as a cheat as we go through this today, all right? Another thing is don't dismantle your existing systems. This is not meant to be something where you have to replace what you're currently doing. There are all kinds of ways to add video to your existing systems and processes that will make them more effective and more efficient, right? And the last one I already mentioned, which is this is a long-term process. If you need leads now, if you're in a situation where you're going, if I don't get a bunch of leads in the next few weeks, I'm going to be in trouble, then you got to look for other solutions, right? And I'm not going to get into all that. There's all kinds of different lead gen strategies, but this is a long-term brand building strategy. The longer you do it, the more people are going to be drawn to you, but you got to remember that, okay? This is not super short term like some lead gen strategies might feel. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Here's what we're going to do. There are 3 stages to this roadmap, all right? The first 2 stages will get you all the way to the point where you know how to make a quality, engaging, exciting video, and you know how to use it to properly market your business, right? Those are the first 2 stages. And the third stage you'll see is a little bit different because here's what happens. First 2 stages, pretty much the same things happen for most people, right? When we talk about how to use your phone to make a video, most people are going to make a basic video the same way, right? We're using the same devices. We're going through the same processes. As we get further down the map, we're going to realize that there are differences in what we want to do, right? So somebody might say, I want to be big on TikTok. I'm going that direction. But somebody else might say, I want to go to YouTube because I think more of my potential customers are there. So you'll see that when we get to stage 3, we're going to start to veer off a little bit, right? So we're going to have some people that are focused on YouTube, some are focused on TikTok, others might be focused on an email marketing strategy. And that is intentional, right? We want this to be a process that adapts to you, that adapts to the people you're trying to attract to your business, right? And so last thing I'm going to mention, then we're going to really run through a whole bunch of slides here on the process that you should be following is, first of all, this is something you can rip off and use on your own. If you want to, you could, take a bunch of pictures of these slides as we're going. There's a lot of text on them. I'll warn you of that, but you could always come back and rewatch the recording of this later. You could go out and attempt to apply this on your own, right? But the other thing we're going to talk about today is our cohort-based learning process. So we have a cohort that starts on January 14th. I'll talk more about it at the end of the presentation. And we will be moving our students one step at a time, 1 week at a time through this exact process, all right? So I also want you to be thinking about that a little bit today. And as you're seeing what it is we're covering, if you feel like this is a process that makes sense to you, if you feel like this is a process you'd like to go through, we will have some seats open in our cohort opening mid-January, and then we're almost certainly going to have to add one at the end of January too, because we're already got a lot of people enrolled in that first one. Okay.
Hey Nick, before we get started, can you please give me the dictionary explanation of what a cohort is? Because I had to look it up myself, so I couldn't have been the only one.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jeff. And I don't have the dictionary definition of it, but what it means, and I think it's a military term, if I'm not mistaken, from like back in the day. But anyway, what it means in modern context is It's basically a class, right? It's a group of people who you're going through a learning experience with, right? So great point. So the way it'll work is we'll have on the 14th at the same, so basically every week on the same day, at same weekday at the same time, just like if you attended a class on a college campus, it's always at the same time on the same day. So you know where it is and when it is. That's how our cohorts work. You come in, we have a limit of 50 people per cohort so they don't get too big. And then it's a shared learning experience, right? So you watch the classes with each other. We have an instructor present so they can answer your questions in the chat while you're watching each of the lessons. And then you have a project you have to finish by the next class. And then so that way the people that you're working with through that process are also at the same point in the process, right? So you're all basically at the same skill level, and it's a much more comfortable working environment because you don't have people that are 2 years in working with people that just got started and confusing each other, right? So I don't know, that's kind of a long answer, Jeff, but hopefully, did you have the dictionary definition handy by any chance?
There's a bunch of them, but you got it. Yeah, that was good. That was a good explanation.
All right, good. I'm glad I got it right. Because I'll be honest, I have not actually read the dictionary definition recently.
Christopher says it sounds like a villain.
A villain? Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
It kind of does.
A little bit of a villainous word. It's not an evil word, I promise. It's a good thing.
It's actually a versatile word. There's 7 different meanings to it, by the way, and
really?
they're all different.
Yeah, and you'll see this. I mean, so there actually is, we didn't realize this until I started doing the research, but there is an emerging trend in online learning to shift in this direction of cohort-based learning. So if that's the first time you're hearing the term, there's a good chance you're going to hear a lot more of it because it's something that's becoming more common. There's even a startup, I think from the guy one of the co-founders of Udemy or one of the big educational platforms is building a cohort-based learning platform. So you're going to be hearing more about it.
I like big words like cadence.
Cadence. I thought you didn't like cadence. Now
We
you
don't. We don't.
Tristan, does Tristan not like? I don't care.
I don't like cadence. I don't like cadence.
Well, cohort's not that different. I don't know.
Cohort is great. I like.
You like cohort? All right, good. Okay, cool. So we're here. Let me give you a quick warning. There are a lot of words on these slides as we move forward. All right. So there's a lot of information here. Absorb as much of it as you go as we can. And obviously feel free to take pictures of these. There's going to be a recording you can access through the LabCoatAgents Facebook page afterwards, since we're streaming through there right now. So if you need to come back and review it, that's understandable. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the 3 stages of our roadmap. And then throughout those stages, we have what we call destinations, right? So basically certain things that you're going to accomplish throughout that roadmap, certain milestones that you're going to get to. Obviously, we use words that make sense with the term roadmap because we're word nerds, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you each one of these. There's a destination, and that's going to have what you should learn. And then the next part is going to be what you should be practicing, what kinds of videos you should be making, what kinds of skills you should be implementing. All right. So here's stage 1. Here's the overview of stage 1. The 4 destinations as we move through stage 1 is that first you need to understand the basics of making videos with a phone, right? Before you do anything else, before you get out there and start trying to make videos or coming up with, ideas for your videos, you got to learn how to make a really simple video. And again, this is a very basic video to get started. Then you're going to learn the basics of video equipment and how to edit videos. Okay. Then you're going to work on being more compelling on camera. Now you can make a simple video. Now you want to get better at being the actor in front of the camera. And then finally, once we have all those skills combined, we're going to start to replace ourselves with video. Now that we know how to make something that we're not embarrassed by, we're going to actually start to implement those into our business, right? So let's walk through each one of those one at a time real quick. First destination is understanding the basics of making videos with a phone. Now, there's a lot of stuff listed here, okay? And if you wanted to do this on your own, this is where you probably want to start taking some pictures or taking some notes and then thinking about how you're going to find this information. But if you do decide to sign up with Business Video School, we're going to walk you through all of this, okay? Everything you're seeing listed throughout this presentation are things that we cover in our training. So I'm not necessarily going to read every single bullet point. I'm sure you can do that at home while you're watching this, but a few of the things that you need to learn in order to understand the basics of making video with a phone is you got to understand some of the psychology behind video communication and how to use it for your business, right? You have to understand the basics of how the smartphone camera works, right? So the settings of the phone, what do the different buttons do? How do you adjust the focus? What if your video is too dark? What if it's too bright? How do you make those changes, right? Things like, where should you be in the frame? You know, are you supposed to be right in the middle? Should you be at the top, the bottom? You know, what part of the frame should you be in? What's the structure of an effective video? What should you say first, second, third, so on, right? How to choose video topics that get a lot of engagement. So we're already starting to get into the ideas of, you know, what is it we want to be talking about in these videos, all right? And then at the end, we're also going to work on how to create a Facebook Messenger video, right? So there's some really simple stuff. And the one thing I want you to take away from this first step is these are simple videos. And so let's take a look at some of the stuff that you're going to develop. And so these are some of the videos that you make during this initial first destination. This is about a 1-month period when you're working through our roadmap, all right? So the first thing we ever do, the easiest video you can possibly make is a selfie style video, right? You hold your phone up like this, you hit the record button, you hit the stop button when you're done, and you've made a video, right? It's the easiest video you can make, so we always start there. And the first thing we usually have our students do is explain how they got into the business, because it's something you've probably told 100 different people, and it's a relatively easy thing to talk about. So that's the first video that we make. Then we move on to just slightly more complicated, and that is to make a landscape video. So the first one was vertical. Now we're flipping the phone this way, right? So again, we're not taking big leaps as we move forward. We're still not editing. We're still not doing anything complicated, but this one is landscape, and we're going to try to add some stabilization, right? So we're going to find a place, instead of holding our phone, we're going to find a way to prop it up, or maybe we're going to go ahead and invest in a tripod. It's really the only basic piece of equipment that we even let our students purchase in their first few weeks, right? As a simple tripod. So that's the second video. Now we're going to do an educational video that explains a myth or misconception in your industry. Again, something that you're very familiar with, that you're probably going to be pretty comfortable talking about, right? Next one we do is we film a video outside, and this one's helping you practice your lighting and audio control, right? Because a lot of times we shoot videos indoors, but especially depending on the time of year, we're going to be outside, and outside it's a little bit harder to control your audio and your lighting. So we're going to practice that next. Again, we're still not editing any of these, right? These are still just, you know, one kind of start, hit the record button, hit the stop button, and that's about all we're doing. And then the last video we make during this initial destination is a 1-to-1 video. So that means a video that only one person is really ever going to see, right? Because again, I think we overthink this stuff. There's a lot of different ways to use video, right? So sending personalized messages is an incredibly powerful version of video. And so we're going to practice doing a birthday video, right? So the first month, you're 1 month in, you've made 4 videos already. We also have bonus assignments. So if you feel like, hey, I wanted to make more than that, you can make extra videos. But the one thing I'll point out here is that rather than getting ahead on the trainings, when someone tells us they want to move faster, we give them extra videos to make. And the reason for that is that you're going to get better faster by doing more practice versus going to the classes faster, right? When you go to the classes faster, it's very easy to get overcomplicated really quickly, and you're going to fall flat on your face in at least 99.5% of the experiences that I've seen. So this is moving you through very steadily, and it's helping you improve your skills as you go, all right? So that's the first destination. The second one is then to learn to use basic video equipment and edit videos, all right? Now you know how to shoot the videos. Now let's work on improving the quality by creating some environments that are a little bit better lit. Maybe we're going to get better audio here, right? We might want to invest in a lapel microphone. We might want to invest in, you know, a key light like I have over here in front of me, right? So we're going to start to invest a little money. But again, we're not buying super expensive stuff. Anything that we're going to recommend in these earlier stages of the roadmap are going to be really affordable. I mean, I sometimes am just shocked by how affordable some of this equipment is. So we're talking maybe $100, maybe a couple $100, and you can basically have a bunch of the different pieces that you need to get up and running, right? So we're going to show you how to create an in-home or in-office video setup, you know, sort of a little studio type of deal inside your house to look and sound your best. We'll talk about picking a good background for your video, right? Having the right environment behind you. We're going to talk about lighting equipment, audio equipment, and how to use it. We're going to get into editing videos, right? So right into month 2, you're already learning how to edit your videos. And one of the cool things about this is that we're using a platform that has a pretty robust free version and can be used on any device. So it's a cloud-based editor. It can be used on your phone, your computer, all over the place. And it's so in that sense, it's extremely accessible and very easy to use. And we're going to show you through a 3-week training process how to do a whole bunch of really great things. You see them listed there. You can read them on the screen if you like to, right? So as we're into destination 2, what are we practicing? Well, at this point, we've shot some videos already. So the first thing we're going to practice is we're going to take one of the videos we made in the first month and we're going to edit it, right? So now we're going to take that myth or misconception video and we're going to add some music. We're going to add some graphics. We're going to spice it up just a little bit, right? As we learn more editing skills, we're going to go back and re-record an earlier video using our new equipment, right? So this is the reason we do this way is that now you're able to compare the first version to the version with the equipment, right? So you can hear the sound difference, you can hear the lighting difference, and since they're basically the same video, it'll be very clear what it was you were able to accomplish. And by seeing that, you're going to be able to utilize the tools that you now have a lot more effectively moving forward. And then finally, you're going to create and edit 2 more videos, right? So at this point, you've got a pretty good handle on editing. You're going to make a market update video, and you're also going to edit a listing video using photos or video clips, right? Now, if you're one of our students or if you've been to a lot of our trainings, at this point, you might be saying, well, aren't we doing a lot of real estate specific stuff? Isn't there like an 80-20 rule where you're supposed to not talk about real estate all the time? That's absolutely true. But one thing we've learned from working with a whole bunch of people is that when you're first getting started, it's generally easier to talk about what you do for a living. It's the thing you're used to talking about extensively. You don't necessarily feel uncomfortable talking about it with other people. And so we start there and then we work our way up to the more personalized content, right? Okay, moving on to destination 3. So now we know how to shoot a video.
Hey, Nick, real quick. You said that I could just take this and do this myself. I think a lot of people are just bolting out because this is very basic.
Yeah.
So yeah, great job on that. And I make that joke. I'm totally being sarcastic.
You're being sarcastic, Nick.
I'm being very sarcastic.
Okay.
And the reason I'm being sarcastic is because, wow. I mean, Tristan and I hadn't seen this yet, and you're not even done yet. And I'm like, wow, this is freaking amazing.
Yeah, that's like a quarter of, well, that's like not even a quarter of it all yet. So
I won't interrupt again. Don't take.
No, you're good. No, I appreciate it. No, that is a good point. I mean, there is it would be hard to do this completely on your own. I mean, this is a lot of stuff, right? And I think, and that's just it. Is I mean, if you really want to do that, you can. But we've tried to streamline this as much as possible. Yeah, Tristan.
Do we have a link to the class so that people can sign up?
We do. Yeah, let me go
Some
ahead and
people
put it
are
in the
like,
chat.
you know what? I don't even want to hear more, even though there's a lot more and you're going to go through with it because it's awesome. They just want to sign up now.
That's fair, man. Well, there you go. It's in the, I do this every time. I always send the chat just to the panelists. Let me do it one more time. All right, here we go.
All right.
First time using Zoom.
I know it's not like
Second time,
every time, every day, right? All right, there you go. So hopefully everybody's seeing that now. So yeah, at any time during this presentation, if you decide this sounds great, I want to get signed up, I want to enroll in the cohort, go ahead and get yourself enrolled. I will make just let me tell you this now, and we're going to show you how to do this at the end. As you're signing up, there's a check mark box on the checkout page for you to enroll officially in the January 14th cohort. So make sure you check that box as you're checking out if you do want to get signed up. And I'll show you how to do that when we're all wrapped up here at the end if you do stick around. All right. All right, cool. Well, let's go back into destination 3, which is next here, right? So the next thing you're going to do is you need to work on becoming more compelling on camera. And I always kind of shy away from saying the word acting because I think that puts a whole bunch of sort of thoughts into people's heads. But let's be honest. I mean, that's what we're basically teaching you to do here, right? We're teaching you how to have a compelling on-camera presence. So literally things like what to do with my hands, right? You know, I've had so many people ask me if they should sit on their hands in their videos. And I'm like, why? That's so weird. Why would you sit on your hands, right? If you talk with your hands, you use your hands. So it's obviously, it can be a little bit confusing. So we cover that stuff. We cover tone of voice. We cover vocal inflection, right? We talk about just what are all those things that you can do because yeah, once the video starts playing, every single second throughout that video, the person watching is deciding if they're going to stay or not, right? They're deciding if they're going to continue to stick around and continue watching it. So you got to be as compelling as possible, right? We talk about creating hooks. We talk about being in the right setting, using props. And then ultimately, we also show you how to use a teleprompter, which is going to allow you to make more complex video scripts and still record them correctly, right? So again, now what's the skills we're practicing here? Well, at this point, we are copying an existing video. This is one of my favorite exercises is to find a video that you like and try to imitate it, right? Now, we don't do that in the first week because you don't have the skills. Now you do. Now you know how to shoot and edit a decent video, right? So we're only a couple months in at this point, but you have all those things already figured out. Now it is okay to start seeing if you can imitate some of what you're seeing out there. So inside of Business Video School, we have what's called a video recipe, where we come up with a creative video idea every single week, something that a real estate agent can and should share with their audience. We shoot a version of it. We provide the script for the video. We provide step-by-step instructions on how to make it. And then we ultimately send that out to all of our students every single. So right now we've already got about 26, 27 of those that we've made over the past few months. Those are going to be available to you. And so this is the stage where we really encourage you to start making those, because that's exactly what you're doing, right? You're taking our version and you're just imitating it. We always make those as simple as possible. And then you can add additional complexity if you want to. And then you're going to take those recipes and you're going to make at least 3 of them during, right? So that part, I will be honest, you can't quite do on your own. There are no video recipes really available outside of Business Video School, but you could go to YouTube, you could find some videos you like, and you could do your best to imitate them, right? And then destination 4, as we wrap up stage, is what I was talking about at the beginning of the presentation today. It's to save time by replacing yourself with video. So we wait until this point, we wait until destination 4 to do this, because now you can make a pretty good, right? Not only have you learned to shoot it, you've learned to edit it, you've gotten, more compelling on camera. And this is where your confidence should be starting to kick in, right? You're going to feel uncomfortable those first few videos you make. It's pretty much unavoidable. That's just human nature. But now you're starting to hang of it and you're feeling a little bit better about it. And so this is where we go through and we start trying to make videos that we're going to be able to replace ourselves with. So we're going to work on being able to script your videos, right? So obviously what you do is part of being compelling. The words you say is a big part of that. So we're going to go through and show you how to script a really good video. We're talking about evergreen versus timely. And then we're also talking about internal versus external marketing videos. And then we're doing a lot of practice in this stage, right? So what are we practicing? Well, this is where we're going through and we're making a whole bunch of videos, all right? So in this particular destination, you're going to make at least 4 videos, maybe up to 10. It's sort of up to you at that point. And you're going to be aiming to replace yourself. So these are your FAQ videos. These are training videos. Like I call them reusable video commercials. So there's sort of more polished videos that are sort of promotional that you can repost every so often. And that's what we're creating, right? So at this point, as we wrap up this and we move on to stage 2, months in, and if you're doing this, on your own, you could probably get there in 4 months as well. And you know how to make videos now, right? You can shoot a compelling video, you can edit a compelling video. You're good on camera. You've just replaced yourself with a whole bunch of automated video systems. And now you can move into the strategy, all right? And this is where things really start to sort of pick of marketing your business, right? Now, remember, you've already done a lot of videos, so you have already been marketing, and you certainly should have already been marketing and posting that content. This is where you start to build a strategy, right? This is where you start to come up with the repetitive habit-based tasks that you're going to be doing on a consistent, regular basis that are really going to start to show your brand and your business growing, right? So in this stage, and this is the second, we're going to identify our target audience. Knowing who you're trying to attract with your content is very, very helpful. We're going to create content pillars. This is something that Jeff does an incredible job of. Certain topics that we're going to come back to over again to make sure we're saying the right things to the right people. We're going to map out that social video strategy. We're going to understand, a big part of this is understanding the social platforms. So how to distribute your video correctly. We go through all the different platforms, and then we come out of stage 2 with a plan and with a 12-month content calendar developed. All right. So once you're done with stage 2, you're going to have the next 12 months completely mapped out. And all you got to do is execute on that strategy, which is pretty cool. So getting a little bit more specific into destination 5 here, the first part of stage 2, this is where you're identifying your audience and your content pillars. So I'm going to kick it to you, Tristan, for just a second. Do you want to explain what the STAY formula is? What does STAY mean?
Dude, I love that you have that in there, because I try to simplify the process as much as possible. And STAY really is, it's just a formula for anybody really trying to figure out what to do on social media to simplify it so that they can at least show up and know, got it. Today's S, tomorrow's T, then A, then Y. Here it is. S is sell. We do that really well. You have a listing, you have a buyer that you're working with, you have a product that you're selling, right? It's all about selling. Next is T for teach. That's where you have the opportunity to tell your audience what it is that you do, or a common misconception that someone has about your specific sales vertical. Or you can say, hey, look, here's a step-by-step on what you do over here, right? Or what to look for over here. Then advice, that's A. That's where you would start looking a little bit more into who you are and giving them, your audience, that, so they can get to know you. Like Nick, you and I are probably like nerds at heart, right?
Yeah.
We play, I love Zelda, right?
There you go. You don't have to say anything more than that.
There you go. So that's a hobby that we both like, and it's a character that we like. We love Nintendo. So advice.
I'm falling asleep. Stop talking about
Get the
Zelda.
heck out of here, Jeff. Advice on something that you love. For instance, I have an agent on my team that loves gardening. And I always tell her, look, I don't know how to garden anything. Why don't you do like a step-by-step on planting tomatoes or something simple, right? Give advice back. And if all else fails, put up an amazing quote, a leadership quote, a quote that you love. Then you go to the last one, which is why it's you. Talk about you, right? What you're eating, what you're doing, pick up your dog, show your dog, show people where you're at, take a selfie, do a video about what you're going to be doing this year, what you're excited about this year, or what you're grateful for, what you're reading, what you're watching. And that's the stay formula.
Love it. Yeah. So that's perfect. There you go. So that's one of the formats that we'll cover at this stage, right? So this
Jeff,
is where
you love 80s movies? Chris,
yeah, dude, I don't watch TV. I was watching War Games last night. Anybody remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. 80s movies.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is right. Chris,
yeah.
There you go.
Cool. All right. So this is where, anyway, at this point we got stay, we got another one we call easy, and you can develop your own, right? So if you don't like either of those, you can come up with your own formula, and we're going to help you through that process. So we're developing our avatar, we're developing our positioning. This is where we're really dialing in the marketing that we're doing, and we're doing all that and we're practicing, right? So this is the point where you're going to shoot and edit videos, but now you know how to do that, right? So you should sort of be doing that anyway. That should just have been, after really stage one, making and distributing videos should just be part of how you run your business now. So yes, that is still part of your homework assignments, but we're going to be getting into things that are a little bit more strategic. So we're going to be developing that customer avatar. We're going to be developing our content pillars. And then we're also coming up with that repetitive formula that we can just repeat over and over and over again. That's going to hit all the right marks every single time, right? Then from there, we're mapping out the official social media strategy, right? Which we've already essentially started in the previous destination. So this is where we're going to get into the social platforms. So you're going to learn how to distribute your videos on all the major social media platforms, who tends to spend their time there, so you can figure out which one of these places your audience tends to exist. And then you're going to start to make that decision, right? So you're going to start to decide, where am I going to focus? Because we really don't want you to try to do all of them at once. That's really not necessary. So we're going to walk you through all of that. And at that point, you're going to be practicing posting to all of those platforms. And then you're ultimately going to choose one, and you're going to learn the analytics. You're going to learn how to analyze if what you're doing is working, right? So you're posting videos, you want to go back, you want to see which ones perform the best, and then you want to use that information to inform your future decisions. That's really important, all right? And then we get to the final destination in stage 2, which is to create this 12-month content calendar. This is, again, where we're going through, a few trainings. We're talking about more advanced stuff now, right? So we're talking about how to plan videos for different stages of your marketing funnel, right? We're getting a little bit more nuanced at this point. How to create an equipment list, the types of equipment that you maybe need to invest in that goes a little bit beyond what you're currently doing. How to have a shot list, how to plan out a complex video shoot. So this is where, at this point, you know how to make a good video. You can get out there. You can start to do stuff that has a little bit more complexity, things that have maybe multiple locations in them, that kind of stuff, right? And then ultimately, what we're really doing here is we're designing our 12-month content calendar. And that's really what comes out of this, is that not only, though, are we going to make the content calendar, but I think this is really important. Having an idea for a video is really a very tiny part of the process. And so we're going to help you also at least outline 4 videos per month, right? So that means coming into any given week, you're already going to have the video you're making that week outlined. And that should make it, that's going to build momentum, right? It's going to be much easier to actually execute on that video. because you have that ready to go. And again, since we're consistently making videos at this point, you're also going to make and edit 4 videos and get those distributed. All right. All right. So let me pause for just a second here.
Yeah, there's some questions.
Yeah, there's some good questions here. If you want to go.
Well, yeah, I'll ask the first one. The first one, Alex asked, but which was a slide or two ago, how long to this point? 6 months? It was destination 5 to 6.
Yeah. So, well, let me put it this way, 5 to 6. Yeah. You're about the 6-month mark. That's right. And then to complete the first 2 stages takes about 8 months total.
Got it. Somebody asked, how long does it take to get through different destination modules? I think you kind of just answered that, but go ahead and reiterate.
About a month each on average. They vary, a little bit, but they range anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, but they average, most of them are around 4.
Chuck wants to know what the BVS Blue cohort again is on the sign up page, the BVS Blue cohort.
Yeah, so that's the first cohort. So what we're doing is to keep things organized, we're going to assign a different color to each cohort that launches. So the first one is the blue cohort. So if you are getting signed up right now, when you check that box, that means that you're going to be included in that group of people that start on January 14th. And then that's the cohort that you'll move forward from there with. And then as we introduce new cohorts, there'll be different colors, right? So the next one will be yellow, and the next one after that'll be red. And that's going to help you find the right one. We thought about doing animals. We went with colors for now. Maybe we'll change it later.
Colors is fine, dude. But animals, if you're picking an animal, Jeff, who do you want to be?
Eagle.
I want to be an owl. How about you, Nick?
Well, that's the problem. Everybody wants a different animal, right? So you're always going to disappoint somebody. I don't know. We had leopard down. Our first one was initially leopard, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to come up with enough animals that sound cool. So we'll see.
Sloth.
Colors are better.
How much time should one allow per week and per month?
Yeah, good question. 90 to 120 minutes. All right. So if you're going through this with us, it's an hour a week of education and then up to an hour a week of projects or homework. You can obviously do more than that. I mean, if you were to ask, any of the 3 of us, like how much time do you spend on making content? It's definitely more than 2 hours a week. But at least in terms of a minimum, that's what we'd recommend.
Paul, that makes one of you. He says he loves us, so that makes one person. Thank you, Paul. It's good to have one fan. Let's see. Steve says, I might have missed it. How often does the cohort meet, and what's the duration of the course?
Yeah, so cohort meets once a week. There are a few weeks that we take off throughout that process to let people get caught up and whatnot. What I will say is that to get through the first 2 stages takes 8 months if you go directly through. But realistically, you can also pause at any time. So if you feel like, well, I'm going to start now, but if I get 6 months down the road and the market's crazy, am I going to have time for this? You can pause. And then what we would do is we'd bring you back into a cohort that was behind you that then catches up to where you are, right? So whenever you come back, we can slot you back in, no problem. I think, did I answer both questions there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
and
cool.
I don't know if we want to answer this one from Amanda. How often per week should we be posting videos? What are your thoughts on videos with vendors in the field? I'm not sure if we want to go into that on this webinar or if that's kind of something we're going to go in the roadmap.
It'll definitely be something we cover in the roadmap. I mean, that's a long answer, but the short version is you should be posting as many videos as you can, right? I mean, that's really what we encourage people to do. And then really almost any video is great. So when you say working with vendors, that can be a great piece of content. Just try to remember, you don't want to talk about your business all the time. So, anytime you can find a way to talk about something that's not business related is going to make people like you more. So just keep that in mind when you're making your vendor-based videos.
Cool. And Nick, can you have Vanessa email Michael, our German buddy, about how to become a member of the cohort since he's already a member of BVS? Yeah,
we'll get him in. I'll make a note of that. Cool.
What days of the week for live? Sorry, in blue cohort. Do you know?
That cohort is going to be on Thursdays here. I'm just going to skip it since we're getting into the details here. I'll come back to that. But here's the specific details, right? It starts on January 14th, 1 o'clock Central, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, noon Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, right? So please take a second and look at those times because we get people mixing up the time zones all the time. So make sure you're looking at the right time zone on the screen there. And then it'll just happen at that time every single week. Now, if you're looking at that time and going, oh, I can't make that, I got a recurring meeting, that's fine. We're going to start another cohort, like I said, probably 2 weeks from now. We're seeing how fast this first one fills up. And then that one will be on a different day at a different time, right? So you just got to wait a couple more weeks and then we'll get you in. If you want, you can get yourself enrolled today. Just don't check that box for the cohort, and then we'll let you know when the next one opens, like in the next couple days here. You will get access to all of our existing content. So you can sign up, you can start accessing the video recipes and the trainings and all the good stuff that's in there. And then it's just a few weeks before the cohort starts, or go ahead and get into the one that starts on the 14th. Any other questions?
One Carly asks, how long are they recorded?
How long are they recorded?
I would know how long and are they recorded? Sorry.
Oh, okay. How long the classes are? I'm assuming.
I think so. Yeah, the individual.
Yeah, the classes are at most 1 hour. Some are shorter because we do the class and then we do like a little exercise right after. And they are all recorded. So there are some courses we're still developing that'll be a part of the roadmap that you won't be able to get until they're ready. Obviously, they'll be ready once you reach that point in the roadmap. But a lot of our content is already created. So once you sign up for the school, if you do want to start accessing it, it is there. We don't encourage that. We actually encourage you to just sort of wait until the cohort starts so you can go through it the correct way. But yes, everything is recorded. As you go through it, you retain access to it as long as you continue your membership with us. So even if you have to pause your cohort for a few weeks, but as long as you're still a member of the school, you're still going to have access to all of your recordings. So I can imagine there's going to be a few people that's going to happen. They're going to fall behind. They're going to have to pause and they'll go back and sort of watch the stuff that they missed, and then either get caught up or we'll put them into a different cohort later on.
Carry on.
All right, cool. Let me while we're still here, let's just go ahead and show you the site real quick. So for those of you that do want to go ahead and get yourself signed up right now, I checked right before we started this webinar. We did open the first cohort to our existing students, and I think we'd already had like 30 spots claimed. So I think there's about 20 spots left. Please keep in mind, if we do overfill this first one, we will have an additional cohort we can spill into, or if we have to, we'll split it into two and just run two moving forward. But go ahead and get yourself registered. We'll make sure you get a spot as long as you get yourself signed up today. But there are about 20 spots currently left. So if you're on our website, this is what you do. You just go to bizvideoschool.com. You click on this button here. It says enroll now, and that's going to take you to our enrollment page. So the first thing you have to decide is which plan you want to sign up for. You can do monthly or annual, right? You're going to save $200, approximately $200. You'll save 2 months worth of payments if you sign up for the annual plan. So we encourage that, but you can sign up monthly, and you can also upgrade later. So if you want to sign up for the month-to-month plan today, and then you want to upgrade after you've taken a few classes with us, that's fine. We don't mind either way, right? But either one, you pick the one that you want to sign up for, you click buy now, and then that's going to take you to the checkout page, right? So we had some questions about the cohort. So I'm going to show you where that checkbox is. So over here on the right-hand side, you just fill this out. You got your name, email, you create your password, phone number, select how you're going to pay. And then that's where you fill in the payment information. And then there's just 2 boxes to check. You do have to check the I have read and agree to the terms and conditions of this page. And then if you want, and you obviously need to have this all filled out, but if you do want to join the blue cohort, which starts on January 14th, you click this box, and that's going to automatically put you into it, and you're going to receive information about it as soon as you sign up, and then you click on complete purchase, right? So pretty straightforward. So that's what the 2 check boxes are. So, all right, we had a couple minutes left because I did still, or I don't know if we do. I think we're about done, right?
Couple questions,
Yeah,
real quick. Bill wants to know what the best free video editing app is, which is, I know you guys are going to cover this, but that works across all devices. I can't answer that because that's something I use. Viva Video, which is only mobile. What do you recommend?
Well, Kapwing is the cloud-based platform that we teach on in the school. It is available on any device because it is cloud-based. So you just access it through your internet browser, either on your phone or on your computer. I like it a lot. It's got a great free version. There is a paid version to upgrade, but you can do quite a bit with the basic version. But yeah, I do also love Viva Video. I mean, you have to pay for it to really get access to the full suite of tools, but at least on the phone, Viva Video is great.
Will the classes ever be on days other than Thursdays? Will your classes maybe always be on Thursdays?
For that cohort, it'll always be at the same time, but upcoming cohorts are going to be different days of the week at different times, right? So we'll have one on a Wednesday, we'll have one on a Tuesday, et cetera. We tend to try to put them into those 3 days unless we get a special request to do a Monday or Friday version, just because that's what most people have told us they prefer. But yeah, we will launch new cohorts at different times so that you can find one that works for you.
Chuck, he said Kapwing, if you want it to be used on multiple devices like a computer. I prefer Viva Video. which is mobile. Chris Layton wants to know, will there be replays for the class videos like on the webinars?
Yeah, I mean, everything's recorded. You'll have access to everything, long term. Again, you'll have access to everything as long as you're a member, right? So if you do cancel your membership, you will lose access to the recordings, but you do have access to literally, I mean, once you sign up for the school, anything that we've already created, you're basically going to have access to when you get started, right? So, which is good, but please don't dive in and take too much of it, because what you want to do is work your way through the roadmap with us.
Yep. Chris also asked, well, first of all, Kapwing is spelled
Kapwing.
Got it. And Chris Layton, are there coaching sessions with BVS? That's kind of a different question, but going into that.
Coaching sessions. I mean, we do weekly Q&As, so you can hop on and we take questions basically, first come, first serve on those. We haven't officially put this together yet, and we're not ready to sort of officially announce it, but we are going to be adding an additional layer to the school that's going to come with some bonus group coaching and things like that. That'll be sort of an upgraded membership that'll be available. Probably we'll announce that, but I'm hoping by the time the first cohort starts. So just keep your ears open for that.
That's it for now. That's all the questions.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it. We got to get off here. There's another webinar coming up. The only thing I wasn't able to show you that I'm just going to click through the slides for just a couple seconds so you can get the idea. But that's
hold on, Nick, a couple questions real quick. Susan wants to know, if you sign up for the year, is it billed monthly?
No, the year is one payment. So if you sign up for the year, you pay the $970 upfront. If you sign up monthly, you pay $97 a month.
Any thoughts on what are our thoughts on Vimeo, which I assume she means Vimeo. She spelled it wrong, but I think that's what she means.
I think honestly, I haven't used it much. From my experience, there might be some cool features in terms of how you can control how the video is played and looks. But I've never found a use for it, to be honest. So I'm not sure that I have a good answer for that.
It's a good hosting place, but I honestly usually recommend people use YouTube for hosting, because then you get the multiple effects, the multiple use of actually another audience as well. So that's just kind of my opinion. Vimeo would just be if you want to keep stuff more private, or feed to a website, but you can do the same thing through YouTube as well.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the link one more time into the chat, because I know it probably got buried in all the questions and whatnot that came through. So the link's in the chat, bizvideoschool.com/enroll. Like I said, last time I checked, we had about 20 spots left in the blue cohort, which starts on January 14th. So highly recommend you just go ahead and get yourself signed up today if this sounds like the right fit. And we will open up new cohorts in the future. So at the very least, if you're not already on our email list, hop over to our site and sign up for our email list so you can get notified about the upcoming cohorts.
Will there be any cohorts at Tristan's house?
Oh yeah, like at least 3 or 4. I'm thinking. Right?
Hold on. This sounds exciting, Jeff. Imagine a BVS mastermind out on the beach, man.
Well, that's a done deal. That's gonna happen. So
I love that.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sold on that.
Because imagine the scenery, every single video would be like, I'm at the beach, I'm at the beach.
I'm actually, Tristan, thinking Ventura, just so you know. It's probably a little bit more affordable. And
well, it's not a far, Jake lives close to me. It's not a far drive.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Sorry. Totally take you guys off base.
BVS Clubhouse room. Are we going to do that?
Oh yeah. Whenever I was just focused on getting all this ready for the past few days.
We actually have one scheduled, Chris. Just keep an eye out. If you follow us, we don't want to go off on that tangent, but if you follow certain people on Clubhouse, that's how you find out what's going on. So when you're on Clubhouse, be intentional. We're totally getting off base here, but if you want to be intentional about what you see, make sure you're following the people that you want to see what they're doing. So, but yes, to answer your question, Monday, January 11th, 1 p.m., Real Estate Pros Teach Video Marketing, and myself, Tristan, Michael, Nick, we're all on it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
There will be more. There will be more than that, Chris, but yeah.
All right, everybody, just go sign up. You'll love it.
Cool. See y'all next week.
Everyone.